Hey there, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While. It's the podcast where we dig into ideas and insights to help you to unleash what you were born to bring. I chat with heart led experts and I ask the questions that I know you're already thinking about. And we explore conversations that spark growth, that shift perspectives, and help you to show up fully in your life, in your career, and in your community. And today we are exploring how to cultivate unshakable confidence for a regret free life. This conversation's worth your while if you're waiting for the fear to go away before you finally do the things you'd love to do. All that waiting is just a form of abandoning yourself, and it leads to a life full of regrets over the things you didn't do. So, today we will share how to cultivate a deep, unshakable confidence so that no matter what happens, you trust yourself and have your own back. I'm your host, Linda Bucher. And if the life you are in no longer fits, this space is for you. Because through coaching, speaking, and my podcast, I guide people who know they're meant for more to align their lives and work with who they are, with what matters most, and with the gifts that they're here to share. So if that sparks something within you, you can find me at lindabucher.com. All right, once again, the topic of today's conversation is how to cultivate unshakable confidence for a regret free life. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Nataliya Kapitanova. Now, Nataliya helps women find the courage to do the things they've always wanted to do, but have been too afraid to try. And she does that so they can live a life full of joy and free of regret. So, Nataliya, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Hi, Linda. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you're here too. So, can you share a little bit more about what you do and who you serve?
I'm Nataliya, and I help women be more confident so they can actually do things they want to do. For example, I go with examples. Like if you want a promotion, and a lot of women will sit and wait for the promotion to come to them. And often it would be a better way to just go and ask for it. Or some women are afraid to travel alone, and we can fix that. So whatever it is you like to do, what your heart is calling you to do, I believe that you're here to do that and experience that. So fear doesn't have to go away, but we can learn to trust even our fear, because fear has messages too. And instead of shoving it down and making it small and squishing it and hope for it to disappear, we listen in and we learn to trust and we learn to have our own back, including that fear. Instead of rejecting it, we're taking it in and becoming more whole, and therefore care for ourselves, meet our needs, and then do the things that matter to us.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we're definitely going to explore more of how to do that in a few minutes. But let's just start with a few stories. I had asked you earlier why you do this, why you do what you do, and you mentioned you said, "Well, boy, I wish I was the person. I wish I had a person like me 30 years ago." And I totally get that because I feel the same way. So tell us what you mean.
Well, I wasn't all that confident when I was younger because, I believe we all born with confidence. I've never seen a baby who wouldn't ask for what they need. But then when we grow up, we're taught to that teachers are right, parents are right, everybody authorities, but we're not. We are basically trained out of trusting our own
Mm.
inner beings, and we lose that confidence. So I believe that if I had a coach when I was like in my late teens or 20s, I would make a lot of different choices. And I have done a lot of things like feel the fear and do it anyway. But I noticed that I became less confident with that
Mm.
method.
Yeah.
But because I was fracturing myself, right? So now I am looking at it from the completely different perspective to become more whole rather than more fractured.
Mm.
And I do what I do because I want the younger generation, like I want my daughter to learn from what I know. I want other women to not wait for 30 years to do regret-free life, but actually do it today, now. We don't have to wait.
Right. Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
why not? Why not skip 30 years of learning and start doing what you want now?
I think any mother would want that for their daughter. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm like this super outgoing, confident human being, but if you knew me when I was a teenager and you would be like, she was a wallflower. She was so quiet. Like I didn't talk. I was afraid to assert myself. I was afraid to assert myself to my own parents, let alone a teacher or and anyone or in a job. And I love that you said we untrain our confidence. We get, like we train ourselves out of confidence. That's what happens. And I think it's going to be such a great conversation for us today to talk about. I'd like to start talking about why that happens. Why do we do this? Because I believe for all of our listeners that we can tell everybody the what and the how, but if they understand how it got there, why things got there in the first place, it helps them to loosen it because then we recognize a lot of things that we're holding and carrying and being the ways we're being was trained into us in our child's brain before it was fully formed. And when we understand that, we can cut ourselves a lot more slack, and say, wait a minute, I'm the adult now. I think I want to take charge, right? So it changes over time. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about why, like how that gets there, how we untrain that, like you said, babies and children. So they go, I want this, I want that. They have the confidence to ask for what they want. They have the confidence to go do what they want to do. They're basically fearless. Where the parents were like, oh my God, I got to be afraid for you because you are fearless, right?
That's right, yes. And then with enough repetition from everywhere, like, no, you don't know. No, like, you don't climb that. Don't go there. Don't do this. Don't do that. It just gets really, oh, and some people, to be fair, and especially for females, right? For women, how we bring up girls. Boys will be boys is always
Oh,
like a thing,
right.
right? But with girls, no, it's not proper for the girl, or the girl shouldn't do that, or the girl is more fragile, or whatever it is we're told, right? From everywhere. The media, the teachers, the culture, we're just steeping in that. So slowly, 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 this trust disintegrates. But we can get it back because it's still there. It's in a way to reparent yourself, right? You're becoming your own adult who is reparenting that inner child. Like, hey, you actually know. And it's not like a light switch. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of awareness,
Right.
but it's not that long and it's not that hard. Once you understand what it is, it doesn't take very long.
Yeah. I
Doesn't it?
think part of the big part of why we lose trust in ourselves is not only are we listening to all these voices of authority who we see as authority because we're children and that, we're trusting that these adults are taking care of us and that they know what's best. Um, but also when we're told don't, we're recognizing we're doing all these things we're not supposed to be doing. There must be something wrong with us because we
Mhm.
keep getting all the don'ts. So, or stop. So when we believe there's something wrong with us, what that is, it degrades our sense of worthiness and our sense of lovability. We feel like we're unlovable if we don't do things that please other people because then they might withhold our love. So that's our main first fear, I believe, as children, really. So we fear that these adults will withhold their love if we're not good.
Right. And love becomes this carrot stick. And love stops being love. Love becomes transaction. We're using love to control other beings. And love, to me, love by definition is unconditional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you said transactional. And that's not what our parents are trying to do. They're not
No,
trying to be
absolutely. But it's
transactional.
just the
It's
chain, right?
right. The child's brain says, here's what I notice. When I do something good, I get praised. And when I do something that is not approved of, I get reprimanded. And the child's brain confuses praise with being lovable and worthy, and reprimanded with being unlovable and unworthy. And this is the child's brain. And I've explained this so many times. Um, our brains are hardwired to find evidence of what we already believe to be true. That's all we do. We ignore all the rest. And so if
Yeah.
we're already believing we're unworthy and unlovable as a 4-year-old because we did something that scared our parents, then we're just going to keep trying to find more evidence of that. And we're going to ignore the evidence of how we are truly good enough and worthy. So that's where it really comes from. And I would love you to expand a little bit more on saying, on what you said about we can reparent ourselves, we can reparent our inner child.
Yeah. So if you look at the definition of confidence, the main word to me is trust. So can I quickly read the definition from Oxford Dictionary? It says confidence is a feeling or belief that one can firmly trust or rely on somebody, something, somebody's ability, or something that is said, reported, etc. So trust. And I thought, well, how do you build trust? And the Dalai Lama said, building trust is uh, simply by caring, genuinely caring about other person's well-being. Well, in this case, it's I'm caring about my own well-being, genuinely, not in a narcissistic way. So that's the foundation of it. Once you learn to meet your needs, to know, like, because fear just shows you there's some need that is unmet.
Mm,
And everything that we do really shows like unhealthy things, the needs that we're not meeting, and we're just trying somehow to get what we need.
yeah.
And so if you learn to meet your needs, you will trust yourself more, right?
Hmm.
Trust yourself to go and get a sip of water when you're thirsty. That gets a little coin into the trust bank account, right? Or if you stand up for yourself to your boss, you'll trust yourself a little bit more. Like, I mean, of course, that from glass of
Right.
water, I just jumped into the, but
Very
little
big thing.
things like, what does my body need right now?
Hmm. Right. I love that you bring up meeting your own needs. And the reason for that is, first of all, it's no one else's responsibility but your own to meet
Exactly.
your own needs. And that is a very beautiful first step. Because when you meet your own needs, then you stop believing other people have to do it. So you move out of victim mode of like life's happening to me, my boss is mean to me, or doesn't won't promote me. So you're like, oh, I'm meeting my own needs. That's my responsibility. It's no one else's. So now that I know this, the next step would be to repair that sense of worthiness so that you know you're worthy of
Yeah.
asking for that promotion, that you're like, yes, I am something. And knowing that you're worthy is a journey to repair, because it comes from that parenting, reparenting our child selves, because
Yeah.
that child's brain was not functioning at the capacity that the adult brain can, where we recognize now worthiness has nothing to do with your accomplishments or your misbehaviors. We were born 1,000% worthy, and we still are. That's never changed. What's degraded is our sense of worthiness. So we got a perception problem, which is good news because we can always change our perception. We do, and we shall. So we are 1,000% worthy. And when we recognize that, then we've met our own needs. We know we're worthy of good things in this world. Then we can move into this confidence, this place of self-trust, correct?
Yes. So when you take care of your needs, your inner child is like, oh, looks like I'm not being abandoned. Oh, I'm scared, but I'm not being shoved in a closet. So the trust slowly grows. And when that trust is like, and it's just not just in a child. There's like from part psychology, there's lots of parts, right? Talking about the promotion. There's a part of you that wants to go get it. There's part of you that's talking you out of going and getting it. And there's a whole bunch of parts who are protecting first one and the other one. So you start taking care of all of that. You start parenting all of your parts with this capital S self, and you're becoming more whole, and all the parts are starting to trust you, and that's where the confidence bit by bit grows. Like all the parts, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to be squished and shoved and abandoned. So but because they're parts of you, you stop abandoning yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's what I call having your own back. You have your own back no matter what part is there acting out at the moment.
It's beautiful. And it's a beautiful transformation to take someone through, because then let's move forward. So then when they're moving, because they're afraid, they're not moving just like suck it up and do it. That's not what's really happening, is it? We have a
No.
little different definition of confidence, which it has more to do with self-trust.
Yes. Um, so yeah, tell me the question one more time.
Well, it wasn't a question. We're just
Right. Yeah.
having a conversation. But I guess we're talking about confidence isn't, just moving through your fears. It's it's beyond that.
It's beyond that, yes. And what happens, interestingly enough, fear does become a little bit smaller because when you go and do the scary thing, but before you go and do that thing, you say, you know what? I'm going to love and accept myself no matter what happens when I go and do the scary thing, whether I have a face plant or whether I achieve what I want. I'm still going to have my own back. Then your inner child will stop being quite so afraid because what happens often, we go and we fail. We try and we fail. And then we say to, oh, I'm such a loser, I'm so useless, I can't do anything. And that erodes the trust in
Right.
yourself. So it's not that we failed erodes the trust. It's because without failing, you can't really achieve anything without making mistakes. That's how we learn. That's how our brain literally designed to learn. But here, like if toddler, was not a toddler, a person who trying to learn to walk. If they're like, oh, I fall, I can't walk, I'm not worthy of walking, and I'm just such a loser, well, they would never learn to walk, right? They fail a million times. And this is example always out there. But something happens with this. We are afraid to make mistakes.
Hmm.
And we talk
Right.
to ourselves like, oh, I'm such a loser. So where I'm going with this, when you say, I'm going to love myself, no matter what mistakes I make, no matter what failures, no matter who says no to me, I'm not going to beat myself up for it. And I'm actually just going to gather data, learn from all of that, and next time try something else.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I often use the analogy of that game of getting warmer and getting colder that we played as little kids.
Yeah.
So, my mom would hide a toy in the room, and I had to take a step and walk in. And I didn't get the toy on the first step. I didn't even know which direction I should be going in. I had zero. So I'd look around the room and I would just have to take a step forward. And if the feedback was getting colder, oh, I made a mistake. But I was a child and that didn't make me feel bad. I was like, oh, that's feedback that I shouldn't go that way. Ooh, thank you. Good job. Now I'm going to get closer to this toy because I'm going to change direction. So, as children, when we play this game, we see this feedback as positive, no matter if we're going in the wrong direction or the right direction. And
Yes.
as adults, we're afraid to take that step because what if we fail? What if we go in the wrong direction? And if we can go back to that game of getting warmer and getting colder, and recognize how important that feedback is. It's bringing us closer. It's honing us in. And if we don't make that step, that scary step, we won't get the feedback. And without the feedback, we can't get to our goals. So that was very, very lovely that you brought that up. So let's just talk about some small things that people can do because I know someone listening might be like, yeah, well, self-love, yeah, if I could do that all at once, I would do that. That'd be great, right? So to cultivate the self-love so they can get to the self-trust, what's very something small someone could do before they hit play on the next podcast episode?
Right. Well, love, you don't have to even go into love. How about we start with just, you know what? I'm going to be my best friend. And it's a choice you can make right this second. Nobody is flawless. And if your friend makes a mistake, you go and soothe them and you say, hey, and you will do everything to support them. How about you give this to yourself? The courtesy of supporting yourself instead of bashing yourself.
Right. That's a great first step. I love that. That's what we call in the coaching world, we call that a turtle step, a step that it's so small that you can actually take it. It's not too overwhelming to do. So, a commitment to become your own best friend. That's something in your mind you can do right now as you're listening to this podcast. Um, and then um, another thing that we should bring up as a small turtle step is I heard this once and it really resonated with me so much. And it's about overcoming that negative self-talk that people have. So people are afraid to try because they're afraid to fail. And they're afraid to be seen failing. Afraid to be seen failing. If it was private, they'd try all day, but they're afraid to be seen failing. And so just shifting the mindset set on that is I'm not afraid to be seen trying.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's just a little small thing that someone can do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
And there's
so
one
it's
more little step if we're going into this direction. Stay in your own lane because you have zero control of how other people are going to see you.
mm,
You can decide they see me trying or they see me failing, but you have no control how they see. So, like, basically dropping control of what you cannot control and bringing control to where you have control, how you talk, how you act, how you think, what you choose to believe, and what you choose to not believe.
right. Yeah, that's a super, super important point. Recognizing what you have control over and what you don't. I remember I was on a ski lift with my daughter. She was probably about 10 years old, and we were going over the terrain park. And it was like a 15-degree day out there, Fahrenheit. So it was very cold. It was not a warm skiing day. And we're all bundled up. And there was a kid in the terrain park with just snowboarding with his t-shirt on. And my daughter said, Mommy, I don't think that boy's very smart because it's really cold out and he only has a t-shirt on. So her perception of him is this is not a very smart 16-year-old or whatever he was. And but his friends' perception of him are like, he's so cool. He's only wearing his t-shirt. And I use this as an opportunity to share that with my daughter and say, see how he can't win, whether he wears a coat or he doesn't? He can't control what anybody's thinking of him. If he's trying to be cool to his friends, he's looking really dumb to all the rest of us. So he can't win. There's zero ability for him to control what we think of him or what his friends think of him. And it's just like an example, like yeah, you have zero control whether someone, likes you, agrees with you, thinks you're dumb, thinks you're smart, thinks you're worthy, thinks you're not. Like really zero control and what they say about you or to you, zero control. So that's such a great thing to leave our listeners with today as just something to remember. Zero control. Okay. Well, this has been such a beautiful conversation, Nataliya. I appreciate so much that you are my guest here today on Conversations Worth Your While. And I know that you have some great things to share with our audience that I will definitely put the links in our show notes. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you got?
Yes. So I didn't want to write another PDF. I created instead a little playful tool to help you with confidence and kind of keeping you in the game. It's a confidence deck. So you just go there, you flip a card and there's some humorous cards and there's some serious. So it's a mix of things. So you don't have to go all serious about it. You just go and play. And it will
Mm,
remind you to like, hey, remember to trust yourself. It's just like a little, and then you can save the cards and have your own deck in there too. And by the way, I don't use those emails if you type your email in anything. So you save to like put your email and have your own deck there.
right.
I also have a mind map for building confidence. So it's kind of a tool where you can go and see where the gap in trust is. So is it with safety? Is it with your body confidence? Is it like there's lots of things. So you go check it out. It's just one page, but it's very visual. I like visual tools. And you also can book a free session with me just to come and play. So
That's wonderful. Beautiful. Well, I have all those links and I'll definitely put those in the show notes so that our listeners can click on those and get a little bit more Nataliya and a little bit more play and a little bit closer to trusting themselves and building this confidence. Awesome. Okay. Well, that is our show, everyone. I'm Linda Bucher, your go-to guide for aligning your life and work with who you are and what matters most so you can unleash what you were born to bring. And if you are sensing it's time to bring your life into deeper alignment, you can explore what that looks like at lindabucher.com, where you'll find direction, clarity, link, and a link so you can book a complimentary clarity chat with me. And if today's episode sparked something for you, please like it, share it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And join me next week because we'll have another uplifting conversation designed to support your growth. So until next time, make sure you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks for